Hello, and thanks for joining us today. I'm super excited to be here because today we're talking about really one of the most important elements that I find with growing a seven-figure business and beyond, which is branding. And this is something that's probably one of the most overlooked things that I deal with when I'm talking to small business owners. But it's also one of the things that if you get this down on the business side and especially on the personal side, then it really is the roadmap to success with building a million or multi-million dollar business. So with us today to have this conversation is Chawanne Burns. Now, Chawanne is a dedicated mother, wife, engineer, motivational speaker, and business owner as well. She's born and raised on the south side of Chicago, and her life took a pivotal turn when she moved to Des Moines, Iowa at the age of 12. Now, this transition opened her eyes to a broader world of possibilities, and she also began to envision a future beyond her previous surroundings. So a trip to Detroit ignited her entrepreneurial spirit, setting her on a path of success and empowerment as well. So as a first-generation college graduate, Chawanne has launched three thriving businesses, the Posh Interior, Chase and Cannon Enterprises, and Chawanne Burns International. Her passion for helping others succeed has led her to build successful business coaching YouTube channel as well with over 11,000 subscribers. And through her platform, she equips aspiring entrepreneurs with the knowledge, tools, and resources needed to overcome challenges, offering startup education, financial management training, and affirmations for success as well. So balancing her professional endeavors, Chawanne remains a devoted wife and mother of two beautiful children, continuing to inspire, motivate, and uplift others on their entrepreneurial journeys. Chawanne, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, Ty. Oh my God, that was a awesome warm welcome. Thank you.
Yeah, well, it's really cool because I enjoyed talking to you before we got started, and I heard something that I think everybody should hear. What set you down the path? Like, what got you down the road of getting into coaching and running your own businesses?
Well, so I actually had a child, my first baby, and I was working in the engineering field. And my drive time was about maybe a little bit over an hour. And Detroit actually went through a flood, and that was back in 2013. And my son, he was about 6 months old, and I panicked, I freaked out, and I was like, "Oh my God, I'm not able to get to him," because I was on the road for about 2 to 3 hours trying to travel home. And so it started me to think about, okay, I know I want to be there for my children or son at the time. I wanted to figure out ways I could make income at home. And I was at the time, I already dabbled. I had an Amazon store. That store at the time was called Sugar Baby. So I was selling baby products. I was kind of successful, but I wasn't really taking it serious. So, and that kind of sparked my entrepreneur spirit, just wanting to be there with my family, to have that flexible time to spend with my family and to, just raise my babies.
Wow, that's interesting. And I love the pivotal moment where people jump into entrepreneurship. And you've run a few businesses. So as you became more and more and more successful, what led you down the path of actually coaching and helping other entrepreneurs become successful?
That's an excellent question. Actually, I started coaching other entrepreneurs when COVID happened. The Posh Interior, the business that you mentioned, I still is still in existence today. We do custom window treatments, um, and we were shifting at the time when COVID happened. We were shifting from residential to commercial. So I noticed in doing, I had a smaller YouTube channel then. I was just posting content in my business experience. But I noticed that a lot of people that I was coming in contact with, they didn't know how to get the proper funding. They didn't know how to start their business. They were not organized to actually get the proper funding, like PPP loans or EIDL loans. And it was a big influx of people coming to my channel and actually asking me for help. And so that ended up starting how I started my, coaching business. Yeah.
I've always believed that, and I've always said this, that in order to build a seven-figure business and beyond, it's not hard. Like you have to have two things: scalable way to bring in leads, digital marketing, Facebook offers a lot of that. And the second thing is you've got to be able to figure out how to become an influencer, how to become an authority in your space, which
Right.
is really one of the things you specialize with personal branding. But from your perspective, why is personal branding so important?
You know, a lot of people don't realize, before a customer actually will buy from you, they need to see you maybe not two, but almost 8 times, 6 to 8 times before they're like, oh, I actually need this. And not necessarily your name. It could be whatever your business name is. And it's so important for you to develop a good rapport or relationship with your market, or your core market, or maybe even not your core market, your cold market, and branding consistency, because like mentioned before, if people don't know you and they don't really trust you, they're more likely, or they're going to look at commercials and stuff like that, or see what they see on Facebook, and then they're going to decide, oh, I seen this person before. I've seen this logo before, like Credit Suite. I seen Credit Suite before. Let me try their services. And they may not know or realize that they need it at the time, but eventually it's what we call top of mind awareness. Okay, I know Credit Suite. I need a credit card. Let me go to Credit Suite to see if I could get some finances for my business. So it's so important to get your brand, I would call it brand recognition, out there. Even if you're not actively looking for product or some services.
So I think it makes a lot of sense, and I see on the business side and on the personal side, why it is so important. But that being said, like, what are some of the advice that you're giving your coaching clients about things that they should be doing to develop their personal brand?
Number one, you don't necessarily need a domain name, but I would say get a Facebook. So some of my clients are older, so they're like, oh, they have Facebook, but they don't have Instagram. Or make a video, YouTube. I mean, if you don't even have to be on YouTube, just close the video down and make a YouTube video of talking about your expertise of whatever products or services that you are rendering. Um, so, those type of steps is, being, uh, prevalent in the social media spaces. Also, if you want to, if you could write blogs on your expertise. Some people, they don't have time to watch a video or maybe surf the internet or social media. They like reading. So blogging is a good technique. And then, since I'm in the service industry, there's certain platforms you could go to and you don't need a website. You could post your blog on the actual social media platform like Pinterest, Facebook, House, those type of platforms. You don't need a domain. Some people are worried about, oh, if I get a domain, I got to worry about, having somebody service it for me. But you really don't need that at this time. But just being consistent and putting your name out there in social media, that's really going to help you.
I really appreciate your insight with that, because something funny that I do, and I don't usually have a lot of people that I dislike or get into an argument with, but when there's somebody that I really have like a clash with, I go buy their name.com. Like if they have, and Sean, I don't do anything with it.
Like,
It just
and
makes
then
me
they
feel
have to
better to
buy
own
it
it.
from you.
You know what I'm saying? Like the fact that I own it. So first of all, you have to get your own name.com, because there's
Yeah.
people like me in the world that will get it. And there's people that are unscrupulous that will do bad things with it. So
Yeah,
that's why.
yeah.
But the other thing is that my TikTok handle is at business credit, because to your point, when it's good when you have channels that come out like TikTok to grab your name, to grab your company name, to grab even what you do, because a lot of these channels when they first hit, you can grab that. And I had hundreds and hundreds of people following before I ever put my first video on, just just because of my handle. So
Mhm.
even more reasons to do what you said on both social and owning your domain.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So the social, which channels do you recommend, do you think have the greatest impact? Because I think that's one of the problems as business owners. There's so many places we can be. So how do you recommend somebody figure out the best social channels for them to start to kind of stake, put a stake in the ground and say, this is mine, and choose the channels that they are going to be able to release content on?
That's a good question because it depends on what type of business you have, and what type of what's your niche like. And I'm not saying your niche of what type of business you have. I'm saying like, what is your wheelhouse? Do you love posting pictures and putting a little text at the bottom, or do you love writing a long text form and maybe a video or two? So it all depends on what your preference are. But I noticed if you're trying to reach right now, the platforms to be on is Facebook. Facebook has a wider reach, and they'll pick up your, whatever you're trying to post, and it spreads faster. It can actually go viral on Facebook, whereas other platforms are, their entry to the market, trying to reach, your audience size or whatever. Um, it varies. It's kind of hit and miss, but Facebook is a really good tool, especially if you are a business owner. I would suggest Twitter Spaces are, or X. Um, and we met on LinkedIn. Now, LinkedIn is another platform I like, especially if you are trying to do business to business, so I would prefer, or I like to see my clients on LinkedIn if they're trying to reach other business clients, because you could post a video, you could put your bio in there, and there's a lot of things, almost, your resume. And so people could actually research you on that particular platform. But it all depends on what do you like posting. But if you're trying to reach people, Facebook is, I think, hands down right now is my number one platform. Then I would say if you're going to business, LinkedIn. And I do like X. Some people don't like X. I like X because you could type in long text messages on X and actually post a video as well. So.
Great advice about choosing the right channel. Once you figure that part out, what advice do you have about strategically creating content regularly for those channels?
Well, I'm doing a video right now, and the video is called "How You Could Use AI um, to Help You with Your Business." AI tools to actually streamline some processes, and there's a plethora of AI tools that you could use to repurpose content. So, say for instance, you're a blog writer. You like writing blogs. That's something that you like doing in your spare time. You could actually use this AI tool, and they will sort out the blog writing content and into many different posts. And they, on this particular platform, you could actually generate, pictures with the blog, or if you have your own pictures. So you could get about 10 posts out of one blog, or making your blog into a video. So that's called a vlog. I'm not for sure how many old people are following you. You can vlog the blog, and that's another piece of content. And then you could split up your content, your vlog. Like, I'm pretty sure you'll do this to this video. You could chop it up into many different points, you know, um, and it could be like 5 different short mini reels, or shorts. On YouTube they're called shorts, but you don't have to keep on continuously, oh, what I'm going to talk about today. No, you have in if you can have one subject. I would suggest, if you're first starting out off, plan your content by subjects, and you know, talk about, create your blog, one blog a month, and then splice it up create a video, that's 5 pieces, then splice the video up, that's another 5 pieces. So you essentially will have 10 to 12 content pieces that you could post on, your different platforms, and once you get in that regimen, it'll come easy. But AI is a great tool. People are kind of scared of AI. It's a great tool. You just got to train the AI to speak or think like you. And once you get to, your preferential platform that you would like to use. So.
Yeah, we refer a lot of people to a company called Profit Lifter, and Profit Lifter sets up automation, CRMs, things like that. And I think it's interesting because like their technology, you're writing emails, blog posts, it's all being written now by AI, which is a game changer. It makes me think about how much time I freaking spent over the last decade creating, I mean, thousands of emails, blog posts, all this stuff. So like you said, it's a game changer. I don't even think you're going to be able to survive or grow in business in the next few years if you haven't figured that out. If you don't figure
No, and you're not going to remain competitive,
right.
if you're not, because your competitor is going to, turn over content or, service a customer two to your one or three to your one, because they're using AI to assist them in their business. So you got to remain relevant. Times are changing, so I think we just have to kind of, get prepared and, get ahead of it and learn those types of tools while we can.
One of the things I see you do really well on social is storytelling. So what have you found the value of storytelling is to be able to kind of be able to expand your personal brand and be able to get your audience to actually engage?
So storytelling has not come easy for me. And, I acquired that skill over time. But people like authenticity, if that, what I'm talking
I would
about.
have struggled with that. It's not a
That
word you would
word.
say
I'm an
five
engineer, I'm not
times
a
fast
wordsmith.
ever.
But they like to see your authentic self. And when you tell story like, hey, this happened to me today. I stubbed my toe on the bed, and and I decided to, hey, I don't have a credit card. The doctor charged me something, something, and I don't have a credit card. So I called Credit Suisse, something like that. But they like the authentic thing, and you plug in your business when you're being authentic. And I think when you are authentic, people tend to share your stuff, and people tend to want to ask you more questions, and that could be a potential customer, or even respond to your things on social media. So I think storytelling is it's a acquired skill. Some people are natural at storytelling, but I think it's important for us to be authentic, authentic to yourself and to others, and people appreciate that. I don't know if that answered your question, but
No, absolutely. And I love that because I think that so many people, one of my really good friends, Derek Harper, says that, done is better than perfect because perfect never gets done. And,
exactly.
I see that that's what a lot of people do is they're so anal about releasing perfect content. But what I find in the world, I don't like, I release videos where I'm tripping over my words. I even acknowledge I'm like, I can't speak today. But what I find is that stuff has more engagement, more response than anything else. Like the rough around the edges stuff that's not like
Mhm.
crystal clear, high def camera, using my phone walking around or saying things that are even sometimes inaccurate, or acknowledging that I don't know how to do something. I was on Periscope. I'm dating myself now. That was the very first live social media,
That
very
is.
first. And I remember in the beginning, I was like, I don't know how to do this. And then my audience would just help me. And that audience still, those people still follow me today. I mean, it's just there's something about being there along somebody's journey and then watching them trip up and seeing that they're human that people really relate to. And unfortunately, so many people try to take that out of their content. And that's the wrong thing to do, to your point.
Yeah, it's the wrong thing to do, because people want to know that you're not perfect and you're human.
Right.
They love human experience. They love interacting with somebody that's like them.
One of my buddies, it's funny because he one of his advice to get engagement on social is he says you always mess something up that's obvious, that because then people will come in to rescue you and help you in the chat, and that gets all kinds of engagement. So he'll do like improper math. He'll say something and then do the math improperly. People are like, oh no,
I
it's not
know
seven, it's six, type of thing. So
it.
it just goes to speak to human nature that like we naturally want to help other people. So when you are tripping, when you're not perfect, people like that. They resonate with that
Mhm.
versus having this polished persona, I think that so
Mhm.
many people think you have to have when you don't.
Yeah, you don't need it. Yeah, you don't
What
need
do
it.
you think? How do you put your identity? How do you put your values, your ethics, your identity? Like, what's your advice to figure out how to take those elements of who you are and put those into your personal brand? Because I see a lot of people just try to copy everybody else's. They see somebody they like, then they look at them, they try to study them and copy everything they're doing. But how do you really create a personal brand around your own identity, your own values, like the things that are important to you, your own kind of personal story?
Yeah, that's a great question. And we go back to being authentic, being true to yourself. If you're just starting out and you're questioning, oh, what is my morals? What is my values? What is my mission statement? I would suggest to like write a one page, I wouldn't say a business plan, but it's called a business plan, like a one page business plan. Write down your values and your mission statement and what you are truly passionate about, and then build from that. And a lot of times I would go back to my original business plan, and look at it like, oh yeah, you know what, I'm kind of off track, or maybe my plan needs to be changed. And then I always incorporate it. You always got to remind yourself, you know, this is what my mission statement or my values, or whatever you put on your paper. But then you incorporate that into your advertisement, or whatever piece of content you're trying to put out. But you don't want to look at other people, oh, I didn't do it like this. No, what are you? Who are you? You always want to look inside yourself and say, who am I? Would I actually say it like that? And speak how you normally speak. Don't try to be or copy somebody else because you see, oh, this person got so much engagement. You could copy their, not what they're saying, but like how they formatted their piece of content. But you don't have to copy what they say. you know put your being authentic, put whatever your values are into your content. um and like I said, you have to be true to yourself. It's not like a magic formula. You know if you're true to yourself. You just look in the mirror, say Chawanne, and would you say it like that? And that's how I would go about it. And I tell my clients all the time, would you actually, sell this person this whatever product in this way? Or you're trying to make as advertisement, would you actually put that in there? Like what about this product that you like to sell? Or why do you really want to sell this product? And then, if you really stand behind your products and your services, that goes back to your core values because you believe in your core values. So it's really not hard. You just gotta be authentic, and stop trying to copy people.
And how do you link the business and the personal brand kind of together? Because I know you use Credit Suite as an example. We're in financial services, right? So it's kind of a little bit more, professional polish per se. But I'm a jokester. Like I've just always been that way. I'm a class clown in my class in high school. Still never changed. Like I'm still that guy. So, but then when I do my personal stuff, I'm just more lighthearted. So how do you kind of link the two together with kind of who you are, but with the business identity itself?
Um, yeah, so that's easy to do, in your post, like since we're talking about branding, in your daily post or whatever you're posting, if you're lighthearted, put funny um messages in your brand. If you're making content, I tend to be really crass, and I guess as a matter of fact, most men follow me because I'm too blunt. I'm not like all rainbows and rainbows and I guess bunnies. So I got more men following me on my YouTube channel than anything, you know. But that's me, So I tend to, when I deliver my message, I'm very pragmatic. Okay, this is this, and this, and this. And I'm also a jokester. So I will make a joke, and sometimes the joke doesn't fare well with other people, but they end up finding, your audience end up finding you. So but you always want to incorporate yourself. If you're thinking about, hey, I want to incorporate my brand with my branding self in my business, put little inklings of yourself into your brand message or your content. And then your people will find you. Everybody has their people. It may take longer than others, but you'll find your tribe.
Chawanne, I've loved everything we dove into today. Will you tell me what is something that I should have asked you that I didn't, that you think is important to anybody out there that's starting a business, trying to get the traction, and that's looking to do the best job they can at building their personal brand?
I think the most important thing is to remain consistent, and do what you promise to do. Your word is everything. Consistency is everything. It's nothing wrong to say, oh, I think I want to pivot, my business talking points or whatever, it's nothing wrong with that. But you have to remain consistent, true to yourself and your core values. And then I believe that you can't lose if you just do those two things. Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, if we're talking about sales, you got to learn how to talk to people and sell, so.
I love it. Chawanne, thanks for coming on with us today. Really appreciate you joining.
Well, thanks for having me.
So listen, if you're watching this, personal branding is really, really, really important. Like I said, to me, if you're building a 7-figure business or beyond, it's one of the two. Once you get the personal brand down and you do the things that Chawanne's talked about with blogging and social media and finding your identity and creating the content, and she's giving you the strategies to be able to do that, then what happens is you start to solidify yourself as an expert. And when you solidify yourself as an expert in an industry, then what happens is that's how you really grow to build a 7, 8, 9-figure business. And here's why. Because everybody else is out there paying per lead. Every time lead they get costs money. But if you're doing this the right way, you're not paying for that. You might go out and pay for leads, which you probably should. But then you're still getting a lot of your business coming from just free organic social media, as happens for me, as happens for Chawanne as well. She's got a big following because of everything that she's taught you today to be able to follow in her footsteps and do the same thing. This is why personal branding is so important. It starts there. Once you identify and figure out your personal brand, then you can expand from there. But we just scratched the surface on this. And by the way, Chawanne talks about a lot of different things. So you should go to her website, which is chawanneburns.com. I'm going to spell that for you. It's CHAWANNE BURNS.com. So that's Chawanne, CHAWANNE Burns, BURNS.com. And I'll put that on the show resources page as well. When you get to Chawanne's website, first of all, you can access her social media links, and she's active there. You can get daily tips, not just on branding. She's talking about a lot of things. I just actually noticed she's even talking about business credit, consumer credit, on her website and in her blog, amongst many other things, right? That she helps learn from her students what they need and then teaches out there in the world. So you can follow her on all of her social channels to be able to get daily tips. You can even check out her blog, right? She did a lot talking about why you should have a blog, what to do in a blog, how to have a blog. blogs. Well, a lot of this you can access on her website as well. So you can see real world examples of this. And it's all at chawanneburns.com. So make sure that you check that out. And by the way, take less than a minute to subscribe to her social channels, because then you're getting daily tips about all of these things that are important, including building your personal brand. So make sure you check it out at chawanneburns.com. Again, that's CHAWANNE Burns.com. Thank you very much for tuning in. Take care. Have a great day.